Today's video, we're going to be looking at 3 knives that every bushcraft, prepper, survivalist, beginner, or experienced person should have in their kit. Stick around. Beautiful morning in the woods today. This is actually one of the first days of this summer that I can remember where it's been cool enough to go out and actually enjoy myself. It is not even 60 degrees yet, which is fantastic. So the humidity's down, things are starting to cool off. We're approaching fall here shortly, and I wanted to show you 3 knife brands that I feel are probably the most iconic and the most go-to knife brands that a beginning bushcrafter or prepper should consider. Now, I'm not saying that you have to have these knives and that these are the all-be to end all of knives. They are not. There are many, many, many good brands out there. But time and time again, every time I start choosing gear for a trip or going out in the woods or whatever, one of these 3, if not all of these 3, always end up coming with me. It's inevitable. So I want to show these brands to you, discuss why they are so good, show them in action a little bit, and what makes them so great. So let's take a look at my top 3 knife brands that everybody should own, no matter what. So right off the bat, we're going to take a look at Mora. Mora knives have been around for a very, very long time. They are used all over the world, and coming from Sweden, these are considered working class knives. These are knives that are used in the fishing trade, on farms, out in the woods. What makes Mora such a great knife brand is that they're relatively low cost for most of the models, and they're readily available. They are everywhere. You can find them in all kinds of stores, hardware stores, and online, fishing shops. They're just everywhere. But the great thing is, for the price, they are incredibly good quality. They're not very fancy knives. This is the Companion, which is probably my all-time favorite Mora. It is not a full tang knife, it is a rat tang, but it has that wonderful razor-sharp Scandi grind that Mora does, and most of their knives come in a stainless version, but there are also carbon steel versions. And of course, if you are really big into bushcraft, of course, the Garberg has become a huge success for Mora. Most people will recommend a Mora Garberg either in carbon or in stainless as a great beginning bushcraft knife. But for simple tasks around camp, cleaning fish, whittling, carving, the good old Companion is a fantastic choice. And then this is another one that I picked up recently. I forget the model name, I'll have to look it up, but I love the guard on it. It's a very comfortable knife. It's easy to control. You feel very safe using this. And for a lot of people, Moras tend to be gift knives. They give them to their kids as one of their first knives. So love Mora. Always going to have a place in my pack, and there are so many different models out there at so many different price points that you can really get a decent knife for very little money. And there's number 2, Victorinox. Why wouldn't you have a Victorinox? They are incredible pocket knives. I remember as a kid getting my first Swiss Army knife from my cousin. He gifted it to me, and I was just amazed. I thought it was so cool because it had all these cool tools on it. And now there are just probably hundreds of different color combinations and models, different tool options, and even different sizes. This is a Rangergrip 78, which is the big boy. Really a fantastic pocket knife to carry in the woods. It almost replaces a fixed blade because of its size. But what makes Victorinox so legendary is the quality The fit, the finish, the steel that they use in their blades is very easy to sharpen and maintain a good edge. All their knives come razor sharp, and I have never ever got a Victorinox that had an issue. Never seen one with misaligned scales or not being sharp or something not working. Everything works always. It's perfection, and of course, being Swiss, it's just very well made. With the Swiss Army knives, these style, you have the pen knife, which is very sharp, non-locking. Generally, two different types of screwdrivers, bottle opener and can opener. That's very standard. And then what I like about the camper or hiker model is that it has a saw, and this saw is very, very capable. They're fantastic little saws, so if you're doing camp projects, they're great. And then with this particular model, instead of a corkscrew, which a lot of them have, and I know a lot of people don't like the corkscrew because they don't have any use for it, this has a very nice Phillips head screwdriver. And then probably one of my all-time favorite tools on any of the Victorinox knives is the punch or reamer or awl, whatever you want to call it. Fantastic tool for striking a ferro rod, and for making a hole in wood, it does a great job. That I always found fascinating about these, you actually have tweezers and a toothpick. I mean, how cool is that, to have a toothpick in the handle of your knife? And just like the Mora, these have been around for a very, very long time. There are lots of aftermarket accessories that you can add to them. Number 3, and don't worry, I did not forget a U.S. knife maker. Essy. If you're not familiar with Essy, you really need to check them out. U.S. company that is producing probably some of the finest semi-production fixed blades in the United States right now. Of course, there are a lot of other great brands, don't get me wrong, but for the money and for the quality, you're getting really a fantastic assortment of knives. And the cool thing about Essy, what I've always really thought highly of them, is the people who run that company, who founded that company, are people who actually go out and use this stuff. Jeff Randall, leads expeditions down in South America. They run a very successful and well thought after survival school down south. They even have a volunteer search and rescue team that they work with. So Essy actually uses this stuff, they test it, and these knives are hard use, real world survival knives. And my all-time favorite model is the Essy 6, but in particular I like the Essy 6 HM, which is this model right here. It has the more curved, narrow, rounded handle instead of that square handle, and for me that fits my hand perfectly. Most of their knives are 1095, always full tang. They usually come with a coating on them, so that's one thing to know. If you don't like coatings, you can always remove them. I've customized a lot of Essy knives. They're very easy to work with. Scales come off. This one has the micarta, but out of the box, they are always razor sharp, very well done 1095. And what sets Essy apart, I think, from most of the other production knives out on the market is their heat treat. The heat treat is by Rowen, R-O-W-E-N, and the heat treat is spot on. I have never really seen an Essy chip or crack or break. Of course, you can abuse these things and you can break them, but their warranty is fantastic. As long as you're not being stupid, they will replace the knife. They're very good about that. But if you're just out trying to destroy the knife, then no, you're not going to get a new knife. They come with a lot of different models. Like I said, the 6 is probably one of my all-time favorites, just because if you want a big knife, this is a great knife to choose. But the Azula, the 3, and the 4 are beloved, very capable knives, and of course they have a lot of other different styles. designed by some fantastic people out there in the business. So you can't go wrong with Essy knives. Super capable, bare bones, nothing fancy about them. Just they plain work, and we're going to take a look at that for sure. Even for a larger knife like the 6, it is still a very capable knife as far as wood processing, making curls, feather sticks. Of course, that coating poses an issue for some people, so what I do is, if you don't want to remove the coating, you just sand and file back the spine and put a 90-degree spine on it with a fine metal file and a vise, and you're good to go. Of course, when we're talking wood processing, you know, batoning wood, there's definitely reasons behind it. Getting to that dry center wood, if you're not able to carry an axe or a hatchet, a larger knife can do that task. And what I love about the Essy 6 is that it's not an overly huge blade, but it's big enough and very capable of doing batoning tasks with ease. There's no fear of damaging this knife. Even for larger, this is not a very big piece of wood, obviously, but it could handle much larger pieces of wood. I've done it before, and it does a great job. But very quickly, I can process some kindling and then get to some really nice dry center wood. And then this piece of wood actually becomes a much better piece for making those curls that we always want to get our fire going. And the Essy 6 does a very fine job of doing that. But if you're more comfortable with a smaller knife, the Mora is always a very good choice. In fact, these two knives together make a pretty decent combination for working in the woods. You add these two. This is your primary belt knife for processing big stuff. You got your small Mora for carving tasks. And then throw in your little Victorinox, and you got your toolbox on you. And now you have 3 very nice tools for the woods that will get you through almost any situation. with them. So don't let people discourage you when you're purchasing your knives that, oh, you shouldn't buy that one. I mean, obviously there are ones that are better than others, and there are ways of saving money and getting good quality, and that's kind of what I wanted to show today, is that there are 3 brands out there that they don't break the bank. They're not custom knives. They're readily available everywhere, but they are all very capable, and they're all good value. They are knives that you're going to buy, and then they're going to last you a very long time if you take care of them, and if you stick with them and use them in many different situations, you will learn what they're good at and what they're not good at. Alright guys, I hope this video helped you out in making a decision of what kind of stuff you should be getting as a beginner or even an experienced bushcrafter prepper. You want good tools. These are my 3 go-tos. Lots of cool stuff out there. So check out the affiliate links down below. There's going to be a link to all the knives that I've shown, to my Amazon store if you want to go check those out and look at the specs a little bit more. I encourage you to go to the manufacturer websites for Mora, Victorinox, and Essy and look at all the different types of knives that they have available. There are quite a few, and they're all fantastic, and I've enjoyed every one that I've ever owned. So thanks for watching, and we will see you next time on The Prepared Wanderer.